Hey folks, if you want to look smarter, then stay tuned for my top 5 tips. Hey folks, this is Kim. Welcome to livemorenow.net. Today I'm going to talk about my top 5 tips to appear smarter in a professional environment. When I first started doing some research for this particular video, I found lots of tips like wear thick rimmed glasses, smile, or walk at a similar pace to other people, not too slow, not too fast. And those are interesting, those are good tips, but I just didn't find them to be very applicable, again, in a professional environment. It's like, so what I'm gonna put on some fake glasses and walk down the street at the same pace as other people while smiling. It's good stuff if you want the general population to think that you look smarter. But I wanna talk today specifically about a professional environment, whether it's a meeting or a job interview or just day-to-day work area. So I'm going to start with number 1, which is dress. This might seem rather obvious, but it's extremely important. It's always the first impression that you'll make. So my suggestion is to avoid anything that's super trendy and stick with the classics. And that would apply whether it's a casual environment or a super conservative environment. Whenever I see a person wearing clothing that, let's say they're my age and they're wearing clothing that is the same type of clothes that you see teenagers wearing, there's just something that comes off sort of like desperation. Obviously, once you start to get to know people, it's perfectly fine to kind of start adding in some of your own flair, but not too much and definitely not at first. Number 2, make eye contact. If you're not making eye contact, then you aren't coming across as confident, and confidence definitely conveys intelligence. When you aren't making eye contact, again, not only does it look like you might lack confidence, but it also might convey that you yourself don't think that you're smart enough to be there, or perhaps just general disinterest. So if making eye contact is an extremely painful thought to you, it's a must. So I strongly recommend that you just practice. Start with looking at yourself in the mirror. Practice with some friends or loved ones, and then I'd say start practicing in low-risk situations. So, for example, making strong eye contact with a sales clerk at the next store that you visit, or with your server at the next restaurant you go to. Number 3, and this is the most important one to me, is use proper grammar. The minute I hear somebody say the word ain't in a professional environment, or he borrowed me money instead of he loaned me money, or I had went to the store, you've lost me, I'm out, I'm now kind of assuming that you're uneducated when you're using improper grammar. Now, I might be a little nitpicky because it is a sticking point for me, but again, I can't emphasize how important it is. Mark Twain once said, "It's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open it and remove all doubt." So if there's a particular word that you want to use, but you're not sure if you're using it properly or in the right context, then skip it. Find a different way to say what you're looking to say. And if grammar is an issue for you with the internet today, there's so many options out there that are inexpensive or free where you can start to improve your grammar. And I would personally start with just a simple YouTube search on improving grammar. I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities out there for you. Number 4, body language. You definitely don't want to be slouchy. You want to stand up straight. You don't want your arms to be crossed. That's kind of a closed stance, and could come off as defensive or angry. And no pointing or wagging your finger at someone can just come across as generally offensive. So avoid those things. Finally, number 5, when speaking, be sure to be assertive but not aggressive. There's definitely a difference. So again, if I'm in a meeting and I need to disagree with somebody, I always start by saying, "Hey Bob, with all due respect, I disagree with whatever it is you just said." And I always try to cite examples. The most powerful way to drive a point home is to have specific examples to back up your claim. I once worked with a guy who was really upset because folks were abusing the attendance policy. And in the meeting, he's flailing his arms and yelling and saying, these idiots, they can't manage themselves, and just generally totally disrespectful. And his arguments were illogical, and he was losing all credibility. And this did nothing for how we perceived him, his smarts, or his level of intelligence. So a better way to have approached that would have been to calmly say, I think it's an urgent matter that we address our attendance policy. I think we need a stricter policy because I have several examples where people have been coming in late or leaving early. Again, I think we need to make it a priority because I've noticed that it's impacting our productivity and affecting team members' ability to complete their job. Whenever you can close it up with why this is important, that's extremely powerful. Again, remaining calm, but using a logical argument step by step will be way more effective than screaming, waving your arms around, yelling, just generally unprofessional actions. And this will help you whether it's a job interview or in a meeting or just general opportunities for growth within your organization. Hopefully, folks, these tips will help you whether, again, it's at work, a job interview, in a meeting, perhaps at a networking event. You can apply these concepts across many, many different scenarios. So good luck. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section below. Thank you so much for visiting livemorenow.net.